So yeah, there definitely has been a lot of mixed opinions or skepticism in regards to Rogue Core. Over the past several days, ever since Ghost Ship Games did their On the Horizon live stream, I've been seeing a lot of people talk on social media and responding to videos that content creators have posted, such as myself or Ron or others, and there seems to be a lot of confusion and a lot of misinterpretation, as well as some animosity or confusion in regards to what Rogue Core is, what it's doing to Deep Rock as a franchise and as a game, and there seem to be mixed opinions as to what Rogue Core means for Deep Rock in general, so I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, sort of help clear the air and clarify on some of the stuff that Rogue Core is doing, as well as what it means to Deep Rock itself going forward. Lately, there has been a lot of confusion and concerns regarding Rogue Core and people asking questions such as, I thought this was supposed to be Season 6, why are we not just getting Season 6? Or why is this just not a game mode that was added into the normal base DRG game? Or why are they shifting focus to work on a different game when they have something else that is significantly more profitable? And a lot of these comments and questions are coming from understandable places, and I'm not judging anybody who thinks these, but I think that what needs to happen is people need to sort of think about it more in a bit of a grand sense in terms of what this could mean for the franchise itself is what it could also mean for Ghost Ship overall. So first, going forward, I want to clarify what exactly Rogue Core is, because a lot of people seem to still be confused as to what it is. Rogue Core is not Season 6 of Deep Rock Galactic. It is not the next season. It is not the next update. It is not the next expansion. Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core is a separate game set in the Deep Rock Galactic universe. It centers around different characters, a different premise, a different overall plot that still is set within the universe of Deep Rock Galactic. You are not playing as the mining dwarves, you are playing as the reclaiming dwarves, and it is a completely separate game. Now that in and of itself is something that people are having a hard time coming to terms with and accepting, because people just want to see more stuff added to the base game, which, do not misconstrue the information, there is still going to be stuff added to normal Deep Rock Galactic further on. They are not stopping production or stopping support or stopping additions to normal DRG just because they are working on Rogue Core. That is not happening. It did take a pause, it did take a bit of a back seat while Rogue Core was being worked on, because A, they only have a certain number of people on the team and they are still technically an indie dev company, or at least a AA company instead of a AAA company, and B, during this process they were also moving offices, which takes a big amount of time and effort. Just as one person who recently moved from one house to another house, that was a big ordeal. So having a whole company move entirely different offices is probably a much bigger ordeal. So rest assured that support for normal DRG is not going away. It is still staying there. It is still going to happen. It's just going to be a little bit slower than it already has been, because work on an entirely new game is going to take a lot of your resources than updating an existing one. So then that begs the second question that many people have been asking, which is, why are they making a second game? Why aren't they just adding this stuff to normal Deep Rock Galactic? Why are we not getting this as an extra game mode? Why are we not getting this as the Season 6 stuff, which is what people are vehemently waiting for, myself included? Why shift all your focus to work on a brand new game when you have something that is already incredibly successful that people want to see more of? Well, I think to start off with, we have to put ourselves in the developer's shoes for a little bit and think about this. There are several reasons why they would probably want to make a completely separate game instead of just adding this to the previously existing title. Number one is because they want to continuously expand the universe. Deep Rock Galactic is a universe that people have grown to love and have grown attached to. It has a phenomenal community, and the developers just want the game to flourish and to go in a different direction, and choosing to do a separate game instead of adding on to the one that already exists has a couple of different reasons. The biggest being that the gameplay, premise, and overall theme of normal Deep Rock compared to what Rogue Core is going to be is very different. If you just added the game mode of Rogue Core into normal Deep Rock, it wouldn't necessarily fit because the premises are so vastly different. Normal DRG has an identity to it. It has a particular feel. It has a particular style to it that is unique to it. And the way that Rogue Core is shaping up and the way that it is presenting itself just doesn't seem to fit that particular premise or motif that normal DRG has. It's significantly more focused on the roguelike actual element of it instead of what DRG has, where it's sort of a very, very light roguelike experience with very little actually loss when you fail a mission, and pretty much everything is meta upgrades compared to what a normal roguelike is, which is what they're trying to do with this. While yes, normal DRG can still have stuff added onto it, things that are significantly different than what we are used to, or that what fit the game's overall premise and personality, are going to make it feel very different. If something like this was added into the base game, sure, it could work, but it would feel very different. This is essentially just a bigger version of a deep dive if we were to compare it to normal Deep Rock standards, but instead, by choosing to do a standalone game, they're able to take the premise that they want to do with Rogue Core and expand upon it and make it its full-own game system. And another thing that kind of confuses me when it comes to people talking about this is it really that weird for game series to want to add sequels or spin-offs in their particular genre? If people are upset about the fact that Rogue Core is coming out when DeepRockGalactic is still going strong, by that logic, essentially every single Call of Duty that comes out every single year should be treated the same way, because at least in my opinion, from what I understand about the new Call of Duty system, is every single game is essentially just a gun and map pack. From what I understand about how Call of Duty works now, it's not unreasonable to want the devs to expand on the universe that they have created and to make a separate spin-off title that fits into the universe that they've created and allows them to have a little bit more creative freedom and give them the opportunity to experiment with a new game type design in a very unique way that is just for them. And another way that you have to think about it, and it's going to sound cynical to think about this, but let me explain myself first, is that at the end of the day, Ghost Ship is a company that is trying to make money and is trying to pay their employees and also keep the lights on. And normal Deep Rock has a phenomenal business model because it is very low entry. You just have to buy the game. That's really all it is. It's just a one-time purchase. It's not like you have to pay for the seasons. The seasons are completely free, unlike most other games. The only really thing that you have to pay for is cosmetic packs, and that's completely optional. You don't need them. And that business model is great in terms of pleasing and making it easy for your community, but at the same time, it's also a double-edged sword because it means that your overall sense of income and revenue is essentially going to be capped to a certain degree because only so many people can buy the game and only so many people can buy the game for their friends. So eventually, they are going to essentially tap out of everything that has happened when it comes to Deep Rock. So it makes sense that they would want to make another product that could help further push the Deep Rock universe and give the fans more of what they're asking for in a different way. And I mean, let's be honest, if they have the exact same business model with Rogue Core as they have with Deep Rock, nobody should complain because you know it's not going to be full-blown MSRP pricing like most AAA titles are. You know they're not going to have shameless microtransactions like a lot of other games have. Again, it's probably going to be similar to Deep Rock where you might have cosmetic packs and that's about it. That the people who are worried about them trying to nickel and dime us by adding in a second game into the DRG franchise are being a little bit too exaggeratory with it. We've seen from the past that Ghost Ship can handle this type of stuff very easily, and when it comes to business practices and business models, they do it very well compared to a lot of other game development companies out there, so I have zero worry about that particular aspect of Rogue Core. When it comes to the gameplay, although it may be difficult for people to understand, I do think that this is going to be very different from normal DRG in plenty of different ways. Going back to the question where people are asking why can't they just add this into the game? Well, because this is a very different concept. This is a very different way that the gameplay would work. We have new classes, we have completely new enemies, we have new overall ways that we change our characters. The core premise as to how the gameplay functions is vastly different than what normal DeepRockGalactic has. So quite frankly, this just wouldn't really work as it stands if it were just implemented into normal DRG. They would have to change so many aspects to the point where it would feel like you were playing a different game overall. So that's essentially why they decided to do this. At the end of all of this, basically what I'm trying to say is that normal DeepRockGalactic has its identity and it has its theme, and the developers are trying to keep that as sincere and pure as possible while still being able to improve it and give the fans more of what they want. But Rogue Core is also a way for them to expand the DRG universe and give us another way to enjoy said universe. Because if there's one thing I've learned by doing content creation for DeepRockGalactic, it's that the community and the fan base of this game literally just want to see more and more of it. And this is exactly what we wanted, which is more of it, just not necessarily in the way that some people were expecting, which I think caught a lot of people off guard. But I think if you stop and think about it for a little bit and give it a chance, you will probably see that this is a phenomenal thing for the franchise in general and for the company in general. I'm not surprised in any way, shape, or form that they decided to do a second game like this. And if you look at the stuff that they are showcasing and that they are telling us is going to be coming with Rogue Core, it is going to be different than anything we have ever seen in Deep Rock in general, which is why it is its own separate title and not just an expansion onto normal DRG. Hopefully that helps clear things up a little bit and answer some big questions that people have had regards to Rogue Core, and hopefully people can sort of understand what this is actually doing to the Deep Rock Galactic universe. as a whole. And those who are a little bit skeptical or a little bit worried can maybe sort of understand and see it a little bit more from the devs' perspectives, because overall this is a good thing for the franchise itself, and it is going to do great things in the future. And this could also make even more spin-offs that could give us even more ways to play Deep Rock. And those of you who are a little bit apprehensive, maybe give it a chance. Give it a chance. Look at it, see what it has to offer. And again, keep in mind that if you really don't like something, you just don't have to get it if you really don't want to. And hopefully some of you have your fears or concerns doused or dealt with a little bit, and you can be a little bit more excited or hyped up for Rogue Core, because I know a lot of people in the community really are, myself included. And again, don't worry, because normal Deep Rock support is not going anywhere. They're not abandoning it. They're not getting rid of it. We're still going to have plenty of DRG content for years to come. It might just not be in the form of the normal base game. But in any event, I hope you guys found this video informative and at least somewhat entertaining. If you did, please be sure to let me know by hitting that like button, and consider becoming a member and subscribing today, as it really helps out the channel a lot. Rocket Stone Miners, I will see you in the next video.